Hey there, brilliant body. Amazingly, it's been exactly 2 years since launching the Brilliant Body podcast, a journey that started out of my own challenges and celebration of being a body. To honor 2 years, we have two gifts for you: compilations of our guests answering the last two questions I ask everybody. The first being an up to date sequel of How Do You Define Embodiment, where we've added all the newest guests who have answered this question. And the second, what do you like best about being your body? We have compiled these in two separate episodes for you to listen or watch wherever you tune into the Brilliant Body podcast. The war on bodies has been going on forever. Ironic, as bodies are what affords us our lives on planet Earth. Exploring what it is to be a body has been a lifelong passion and necessity for me. I've had so many challenges, so many frustrations, and so many joys for being the incarnation that I am, which is why it's what I keep writing about in my blogs, in a forthcoming book, talking about in these episodes, teaching about in my classes, facilitating in my private sessions and group experiences. So here's the outcome of not just the last 2 years of podcasting, but all of my years exploring this very question: what the hell is embodiment anyway? By the end of this episode, hopefully you'll have a lot more sense of at least these brilliant guests' view on that very topic. Thank you for celebrating with us by listening. Here we go. How would you describe embodiment?
I define embodiment as being sensorially aware of your body and being able to move your body in ways that are expressive for you instead of just in prescribed ways, and being able to make sense of and use the sensations of your body, which mostly means emotions, because emotions are basically sensations, pretty much. And, being fluent with what they feel like and what you do with them, being able to enjoy the sensations of your body instead of holding them at arm's length, being attuned to the impulses to move your body. It's a pretty big order. I mean, it's funny we say, well, I'm in my body, I'm not in my body. Well, of course you're in your body because there's nowhere else to be. Like, you're in your body.
Boy, that's a really big question.
Yes.
Yeah. How do I define embodiment? I've got two thoughts that come to me when I sit with that question. The first one is, you can't not be embodied. Sorry. You can be dissociated from that body. You can send your mind packing off someplace, but it's not possible not to be embodied because you are a body. The second thing that comes to me then is presence, really, is you can be bringing your consciousness into awareness of yourself as a body, as a living, breathing being with a boundary in relationship to, or you can check out. So I guess I would say embodiment is life, as far as we can tell, this body-based thing that's always unfolding and creating and making itself anew. And we as humans can participate in that consciously with mindfulness, or we can check out and do crazy things. So that would be my answer to that. And I think the beautiful thing about all of the things that we've talked about is whatever fate has given you, if you grew up in a place where it was better not to feel your body, you can still heal and learn. We can always learn to come back home and to make home a good place. And I think if you talk about hope, that would be the most hopeful thing for us. When we come back and we really can love where and who we are, we're going to come back into a loving relationship with what is, with nature, because we aren't separate. So if we come home here, we will come home there. And for me, no matter what has happened, that we can learn to do that is the biggest gift. Of being a human, we can learn.
For me, that would be presence. maybe a combination of presence and awareness, that you are present in and aware of your body. And when you are fully, at least this is my personal experience and belief, when you're fully aware, fully present, you drop into nothingness and everythingness, and you own all of that. To me, is the complete embodiment. You are here now in this, but everything.
Do you have a definition of embodiment?
Oh, wow. I love this question.
Or more specifically, sexual embodiment?
The words that are coming to mind right now are being home, feeling rooted, feeling present, and feeling alive in an integrated way, meaning you can actually notice the sensations and be present with the sensations in different parts of your body, and you can almost feel them as the epicenter of your consciousness. So for me, that's what embodiment feels like, particularly sensually or sexually.
Embodiment is just being in sensory contact with your body.
I define embodiment as the experience of inhabiting one's physiological vessel. So by inhabiting, we can inhabit with our awareness, with sensation, with breath. So it's almost like you inhabit a glove by filling it. So embodiment is the experience for me of really fitting the glove of your body, experiencing the inhabitation of your body.
So, in that analogy, what or who is the hand?
You could say it's your soul, your consciousness.
Embodiment is a human concept that simply means connection to all of energy.
How do you define embodiment?
Oh
If-
my goodness. That was not the curveball I was expecting. Embodiment. The analytical part of my brain is just screaming for a context to be able to give a definition of that. I don't know if you have a context to give.
Well, since we're talking about animal intelligence, go with animals. What is it that humans can learn about being bodies more fully, more honorably, and harmoniously? Perhaps is a better question for you.
In that case, I have a good answer. There's this amazing word. It's a German word and we don't have an English equivalent, and it's called Funktionslust. What it basically translates to is the joy and love experienced from using the abilities that you innately have. So let me unpack that for a second. If I'm a cheetah, I have this really long tail in proportion to my body that acts as a rudder to control my turning, because I'm going to be pivoting on a dime when I'm going fast. I have really hard toe pads compared to other cats because they're like the studs on football boots or something that are going to be super grippy. I have only got semi-retractable claws because I'm actually, again, going to use that to be able to dig in and be able to turn at sharp corners and stuff. My spine is about as flexy as a wet noodle compared to a horse's back who's always sitting like this, because I'm going to literally put my back legs in front of my front legs when I take a stride so that I can then leap out and go and do the things. So when a cheetah is in full flight, in that experience on the hunt of top speed, there's a whole lot of physicality. There's a whole lot of stuff that their body is doing. And of course, their brain is concentrating, their eyes are looking at, there's 100 things happening at the same time. But when that cheetah is successful in expressing all of that skill set that is innate to who they are, they didn't learn that stuff, that's built into them and their identity. And they do that with a level of accomplishment, because now we've got lunch. There is this experienced thing called Funktionslust, where it's just like, I am so awesome for being me because I am unique and I have all of this stuff going on. And look at me just do the thing that I'm supposed to do with all the skill set that I have. They're basically putting their passion, their purpose together for something meaningful. Now, if we could be a bit more like that and embody what our skill set, our identity, and our natural talents for the passion that is unique to us and put that together and go forth and conquer, my gosh, we'd have a happy world.
Embodiment is allowing all feelings to be within you and allowing them to create, manifest, and be in the world as well.
Embodiment is a state in which the whole of your intelligence comes into coherence with the present.
How do I define it? Embodiment is the process by which we step into fully inhabiting all of ourselves.
I am adjusting and creating and relating to my immediacy of context, and my body is changing depending on that. So I feel that the capability and the potential of being in the body constantly with awareness in the fluid body, being in harmony with everything that is around us, is what is embodiment for me.
How do I define embodiment? When you ask the question, I feel embodiment. So for me, embodiment is about dropping into this vast and very precise field of information and discovering how my body communicates to me about that field of information.
Being at home. And I think that's probably my closest to embodiment, is when somebody is content at home. And I think content is the right word, because when they are content, they're regulated. And they can co-regulate with the internal and the external. So somebody who's really truly feels at home and is self-aware and aware of others is going to be more balanced. So for me, that's probably what embodiment means.
It is the full engagement of the body, mind, in the felt sense, through movement, through recognition of that which you know, wish to know, through the expression of your body.
I don't always have to be there, but I want to be there. And I value the extreme intelligence of the body and the body mind, the full body intelligence. So just including the body would be my definition.
It's a feeling to me. It's not a thought, and it's heart. It's my heart. When my heart is filled and I feel that blood and life force pumping through me, then I know I'm embodied. I know I'm present within this body.
So what is your definition of embodiment?
I'd have to dance for you. I don't know how to answer that question. There you go.
You would answer it through movement. I love that.
Oh, great question. Well, I would define embodiment as being attuned. Let's use these words, being attuned and being present to your experience of being in your body. Fundamentally that. Many of us are pretty disconnected, disembodied, disassociated. We hear these words spoken. So embodiment is that I can be present with and attuned to my sensations, my impulses, the other words that have been spoken here, preferences, desires, boundaries. I can connect with that wisdom and use it to inform my decision-making, my choosing, guiding me as I move through my life.
The meeting of attention, which is our most precious gift that we can give to the liquid self.
How do you define embodiment?
Oh, ooh. Embodiment. Being able to take in the sensations of the body, to recognize them, to notice them, and to make sense of them. Even if it's not a cognitive sense, but a felt sense. Yeah, I think that's how I would define it.
Maybe embodiment is the condition, ever expanding condition of conscious awareness of one's body, which may end at your skin and it may end at the Pleiades.
Embodiment is a sense of pleasure and eroticism. And I think from there, sexuality flourishes. I'm not sure that as a young being, a young child, we really understand the difference between something that feels good and something that is sexual. If we are lucky enough to have a childhood that is good enough, and we've not experienced trauma that blocked us from feeling things in our body, and we lived in a environment that wasn't too repressing, and people left us alone, at least to explore or allow us to explore ourselves to some extent without shaming us and blaming us. Or if all of those things happened to be there, and if you're lucky enough to be in an environment that's good enough, like they say with attachment theory, you need good enough parenting. We need to have a good enough environment that doesn't necessarily need to be excellent to support us in staying connected with that sense of embodiment, with that sense of pleasure in our bodies. Then we can grow from there and we can expand from there.
The physical connection to our presence, the physicality of our presence, it's being able to connect. Some people might call this somatic awareness. Know where my body is, time and space, locale, connect to my inner sense, sensation, interocepting, and being able to share that, express that, bridging that to the outer. I think that's part of embodiment. I don't know if it's all of embodiment, but it's really a presence in our physicality.
Yeah, I'm not always so great at defining big terms like that, but for me, I know I love being in my body and it can be so hard to get into my body, but it's such a good resource, but it can be so scary in moments. And I think embodiment is where we come in, we leave, we come in, we leave. I think that's okay. That's part of it. Just giving yourself daily practices, saying, hello, body, checking in. What am I noticing? What am I feeling? Sensations, emotions, breath. In many, many moments throughout the day. And knowing that it's not going to always feel comfortable or good. That's embodiment. Oh, and chocolate.
Yeah, I saw this question on your thing. I'm like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
I define it as how you sit with yourself. How do you I hated this question, by the way.
He just said, I hated this
I hated
question.
this question. Yes, yes. No. I guess embodiment to me is, who am I? What do I represent? How do I move? How do I interact with the world? So that's the closest I can get to it. Do I embody as a healer? Do I embody as a father? Do I embody as somebody out in the world? What defines me and how I present that to the world? That's how I view embodiment.
So would you say how I show up?
Yeah, much simpler.
Being with the senses. That's embodiment, being with the senses.
Love it. So simple and so profound. We hope you loved this episode, and we hope it inspires you to appreciate yourself as a body and what that experience of whole intelligence feels like. In any given moment, you can even just notice how brilliant your senses are, how much information and inspiration, guidance and pleasure they provide. Celebrate your body's brilliance. I and my brilliant-bodied guests will keep providing guidance and inspiration how to do exactly that. So keep listening to the Brilliant Body podcast, because every episode has deep insight and inspiration on how to live your body's brilliance for a much more enriching life. And you're invited to join our regular online events. Some are group events where I guide participants to discover what their bodies know about a variety of topics in great detail using personal geometry. And others are live Q&A events with the Brilliant Body podcast guests. And they're all free. So see what's coming up and come join us. They're always revelatory. Find the links in the show notes. From our brilliant body to yours, we wish you every inspiration and lots of joy and peace.